Hi everybody, it's your friend Daniel Hutchins again. We're back again. You know what time it is. It's the Dan and Dallas the Puppy Show. You guys already know. We've been doing this for, I don't know, the Dan and Dallas Puppy Show. We've been doing it for a long time now. I have to say that we've done well over 100 episodes. We have done over 100. We've done over 100 episodes of the Dan and Dallas Puppy Show, both on the channel and off the channel. We've done over 100 episodes of the Dan and Dallas Puppy Show. The only reason I did not mark it was because I wasn't fucking counting. And it's not my fucking job to. Because, again, you guys, the audience, are supposed to enjoy the show, not bitch about other things. Leave the bitchin' to me. Anyway, here's our little buddy over here, Dallas the puppy. You see he's got his nose down and his tail high and he's chillin'. Okay. Anyway, Dad just got out of his second shower because on average, my dad takes 2 showers every day. One to wake up and one to wake himself back up again. Well, one to wake up and then one to wake up again. Because, my dad is of the age of 60 and, he needs to wake his ass up sometimes. And sometimes, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's the time where everybody's like, oh, I'm between the time where I want to give a fuck and the time where I don't. So it's like, oh yeah, after 4 o'clock, nobody gives a fuck. But before 4 o'clock, people want you to give a fuck. It's kind of just the basics of life, my friend. Also, we had a nice, intelligent conversation with my friend Eric, and a nice, intelligent conversation with my friend Kara Roth. Kara Phelan Roth, that is. But anyway, they are 2 of my closest friends from PA. Or as I call it, PA. Pennsylvania should just call itself PA, because that's what the letter stands for, PA. But anyway, enough about that now. What other announcements do we have? Well, there is some stuff I do want to talk about. One is something that is really big. I got some really big news I'm going to talk about tonight. But again, you guys are probably just the impatient little assholes that want to know about it right now. So I'm going to tell you now. So what the fuck? Anyway, so what is this big news that I've been hiding and procrastinating about for the last week or two? Well, I'm about to tell you. So hang on to your pants before they fall off your ass, because I'm about to tell you something. And it might shock some of you. Okay, the news in question is Sony is going to sell Spider-Man back to Disney, and it's going to be taken effective immediately. And so what does that mean? Well, a couple things. One, the Sony Spider-Man universe was a failure, and 2, it's to kind of get everything, all their ducks in order over at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And because Sony has a bad track record when it comes to the recent releases in Spider-Man movies, but their video games are fucking good. So I do give them a shout out on the video games. Sony does excellent on video games of Spider-Man, though I've never played a single fucking game. Except, the ones back in the PlayStation 2 decade. Call me a fucking dinosaur if you want to. I don't care. But anyway, yeah, I grew up in the time where the PlayStation 2 was my first console. Yeah, I'm a fucking dinosaur. I'm like, but anyway, enough about me being a dinosaur, playing the PlayStation 2 Spider-Man as my first console system. But anyway, yeah, the only good thing I could say about Sony right now is the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Verse, and quite honestly, the video games. Other than the animated Spider-Verse and the video games, Sony is just not doing good. Even though I gave them a benefit of a doubt last year. But based on recent critical reviews, people say and want to justify and say, hey, we're throwing Sony under the bus because their Sony Spider-Man universe was a flop. And you know why it was a flop? It's because Spider-Man was not in them. And you know what their excuse was for not having Spider-Man in it? I'll tell you. Their excuse for not having Spider-Man in it is simple. And actually it's kind of fucked up. But the real reason they did not have Spider-Man in the Sony Spider-Man universe films is because they don't want to spoil the audience. That is the reason. They don't want to spoil the audience. I know, right? Sounds fucked up, right? Yeah, I know. Sounds fucked up, but that's the reason. The real reason why Spider-Man is not in the spin-off films is because they don't want to spoil the audience. I know, sounds like a fucked up reason to me, but that's what the real truth is. I read, like 2 days ago, or 3 days ago even, the real reason Spider-Man was not in the spin-offs is because they don't want to spoil the audience. And because he's already integrated in the MCU via from Tony Stark himself when he was back as Iron Man. Yeah, so, yeah. Right as Iron Man was stepping away, Spider-Man came in the fold right back in 2016, back during the Captain America, the Civil War, which we know is the first introduction of Spider-Man in the MCU. If you've been following me since that time, which I very much doubt that most of you guys were, because back during Captain America Civil War was back when I was starting YouTube for my first time, so I've been doing YouTube since that long ago, my friends. If you don't believe me, go back on Hudson's Hut, the OG, and it'll show you how long ago it was since I've done content. Long freaking time. In fact, I also been doing YouTube content ever since when the Snyderverse was still the Snyderverse. And also, I've been doing it since Iron Man 3, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew one. That's how long I've been doing YouTube. You don't believe me, go back on Hudson's Hut OG. It tells you I've done that. But again, I'm just saying, long story short, y'all, I think the whole ideal prospect and the ideology about why Sony is so desperate right now, they're like, oh, I don't know if we're going to be capable enough of holding our own franchise, when quite honestly, our partner over at Disney and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is using Spider-Man so much better. So it's like, okay, yeah, you might as well just have a press conference right now and fucking have the fucking president of Sony and the president of Marvel get around a table and go, oop, yeah, and fucking eat tea cakes and drink Georgia sweet tea and whatever the fuck they do in Atlanta, and fucking get Spider-Man back in the Marvel Universe. That's what I think they ought to do. But go, yeah, let's go have some tea biscuits and fucking Georgia sweet tea. Freaking go kumbaya, kumbaya, kumbaya. Akuna Matata, all this Lion King circle of life type of shit. Which, quite honestly, I feel like they're doing. Like, oh yeah. Well, that circle of life shit. But anyway. But that's what, honestly, I think they're going to be doing in the next year or two. Because To be completely deadpan honest to you guys, the Sony Spider-Man universe was very short-lived. Very short-lived. Now again, the precursor to that was the Andrew films. The Andrew Garfield films from 2012 and 2014 was kind of like the start. But people don't want to count that in the Sony Spider-Man universe because the Sony Spider-Man universe actually technically, in their words, is from 2018 to 2024. So it's like, okay, so we got a couple years out of stuff. Yeah, we got 3 films about Venom, and we got Madame Web, we got Morbius, and then we got Kraven the Hunter. But other than that, yep, nothing else than that. But so yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys realize that if they ever learn from their mistakes, not assuming that they will, but if they learn from their mistakes, they got to be careful about where they're putting their stuff. And quite frankly, I can understand why people would be such a way when it comes to these franchise characters. Because it's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, we want to introduce new Spider-Man characters in the Spider-Man library. But in the Spider-Man library, it's like, oh yeah, the Spider-Man library was only so big to begin with. But it's like, okay, yeah. It's like, now you don't have to worry about that anymore. Because now they're stepping down from the idea and being like, okay, we see what the fans are seeing. They don't like what we're making, so we're going to back off. And as they should, because quite frankly, people just don't give a damn. And I feel like if people actually do care about the superhero genre, which not too many folks my age would, with the exception of myself, but again, there's not really much of a catered need for that sort of thing. But again, this is my own words. I feel like since there's not really much of a catered need to have all this extra shit and crap and content of the such, because it's like, oh, they're just gonna pile on a bunch of crap and say, hey, slap on a title and say, hey, this is a movie. But the real question is it a movie or is it not a movie? That is the real question. And so on that note, I'm gonna hang up now and I'm gonna see you later.